All right, welcome to one of the tiebreaker rounds of GPV. We have Herzi versus Cyber. So, do you want to introduce us to their decks, Pip?
Sure. So Herzi is on a blue-green splash black Turbofog control deck, which we've seen a couple of times so far on this channel.
I'm
And Cyber,
surprised how many times we managed to get that thing on camera,
yeah,
considering that it's not very, or it's not the funnest deck to commentate.
and Sai is on a bug control list built around one of the new cards, Krufix, Patron of Mystery. On paper, this is kind of a miserable matchup for Herzi. Cyber took him all again. This follow-up hand is like pretty mediocre, but it has it has two disenchants, which means Herzi's not going to be able to get off the ground with these Edge of Waters. It has like long-term card flow. It has a cursory glance, so I think you keep it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to go down against a Turbofog. I mean, it's gonna be a long, drawn-out matchup, I guess, but
Yeah, so I think Rohit's ability to cast Cyber's like finishers is going to be a lot more relevant in this matchup than in a lot of matchups. I think Herzi's ability to like win via a true Turbofog lockout is like pretty minimal. I think Cyber being able to just kind of answer all of Herzi's value engines and then like slowly chip down with counter magic backup is like really miserable to handle in Herzi's shoes. But
well,
um,
good because I kind of wanted to get revenge on Herzi for beating me last round.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the last round of Swiss. Okay, so Hershey drawing a Prismatic Cavern means that this Promethean Grotto start is a little bit better. So you're going to be able to cycle a Promethean Grotto on 2, play it on 3, pick it up on 4, cycle it again. Really just grinding out those extra little card advantage edges.
Also, I find
Uh,
it funny how Herzi has no fogs in their opening hand, which is what you actually want for this matchup.
yeah. These two Edge of Waters look really good, but also Ultim Surveyor definitely feels rough. I'm a little bit shocked that Sai cracked that fetch actually,
Really.
because you want to draw more basics, so you don't want to cast this no value Ultim Surveyor. I mean, I guess Sai does. I disagree with this. Like, you choose no modes, and now you just have a 1/3. This card could have answered an Edge of Water.
Hey, it
It could have
forces Herzi to fog eventually.
it could have shuffled back Herzi's graveyard once if Herzi got an Edge of Water online. Like, this card does so much in this matchup. I think just running it out makes no sense.
Honestly, yeah, I agree. I think
Um,
maybe Cyber's in a mindset where they just feel like they have to play on curve.
Maybe. I don't think that's really how their deck generally operates, but it's also like, it's possible their approach to this matchup is just different from how I would approach it. Or it's possible they feel that since they mulliganed, they need to like, jam more aggressively. Maybe that's like the logic.
Yeah, that still feels weird.
I agree. Um,
Celestial Banishment. Does that do anything in this matchup?
so Edge of the Water isn't a trigger, so it doesn't do anything there. It's good versus Rahit.
Right. It's good versus Planeswalkers, so and Rahit's a Planeswalker.
It also can stop your opponent from recurring a small luxuries, but I think that's like very medium.
Okay,
Uh,
here's the first fog that Herzi doesn't want to draw.
I mean, it's fine to have one in hand. It's just not relevant. So if I'm in Herzi's spot here, I probably play out the Promethean Grotto to just really maximize my value. And then since Cyber is tapped out, I think casting an Edge of Water through any counter magic is nice. Like it can still need an Ultim Surveyor or whatever once it's in play, but you're gonna need to work through those eventually.
Yeah, and the fact that does Cyber have a way to reuse their Ultimate Surveyors?
Um, let's see. In the main deck, no good way is how I would put it. We do have like some weird like you play the third Ultim Surveyor to shuffle the other two that are in your graveyard back into your deck, or like you death it in reverse to put it back on top of your library, but those aren't real strategies.
Also, interestingly enough, Herzi decides to keep up Unraveling, and it's going to be able to hit in Dire Straits, which is quite useful here because Cyber really needs land right now. Wait, Herzi lets it happen? What are they holding
I
it
don't,
up
I
for
don't
then?
think I don't think that's something you fight over. Maybe Herzi was holding it up in case Cyber had the land naturally to answer Krufix. That would be my guess.
Psycho Grotto. So here, I feel like Herzi should have Psycho Tranquil Repose because it costs more mana, and it's basically the same thing, right?
I mean, it has like actual game text. Whereas
In this
Promethean
matchup,
Grotto, I mean, yeah, eventually your opponent's going to be swinging for lethal.
Right, this game's gonna go along, and we're gonna see in dire straits getting completely
Right.
edged by Fogs turn after
Yeah.
turn, just like in the ramp matchup.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, how that's gonna have to play out.
So
So
here's early
okay,
reheat. I mean, you definitely slam. No, you're slamming edge of the water instead.
because you can't protect the reheat yet.
Well, you don't need to
So
protect it. What's Cyber gonna do to it? Attack with a 1-3?
I guess so. And then like, yeah, maybe I don't know. I wonder if Percy's trying to somehow figure out a way to work through those celestial banishments. Also, I guess if you have to choose one to resolve of reheat versus a edge of the water, I think edge of the water is better to resolve.
Yeah, I guess.
But I also think it's kind of six of one, half dozen of the other. Hersey doesn't have a lot of like. Hersey just kind of needs to work through these answers that Sai now has enough of. We also see Sai like just zero issue with casting that early Ultim Surveyor. They've drawn into another. They already had another Ultim Surveyor, and now they picked up a Celestial Banishment, and no good deed goes unpunished. So they can answer like the next 3 resolved value enchantments or permanents,
Right.
which pretty good, and still will have like cursory glance coverage, cosmic sinkhole coverage.
Well, they're playing out Alton Surveyor now.
Yeah. Blow up that water, give your opponent a 1/1.
Do you want to shuffle your opponent? Because I mean, there's the Promethean Grottos.
Um, I mean that's card advantage. I think that's super reasonable, but
They
is choosing.
yeah.
I think it's reasonable to do so. I also like don't hate just not doing it.
But like, what downside is there to it? Because Herzy's not gonna kill you with the 1/1s.
I guess it means that the edge of the water that you just destroyed won't get picked up by Hersey in another couple turns.
Oh, right.
Like,
It's only the fight mode that doesn't shuffle correctly.
yeah,
Well,
because the fight mode would have a state-based action thing happen. So that's why you do it afterwards. That way people don't misplay it.
yeah. So Edge of the Water number 2. Too bad Cyber didn't keep their Alton Surveyor number 2.
I think you can just cursory glance this one. I mean, I don't know how much you care. Like maybe it's better just resolve a maze collection, but
Edge eats a Cursey Glance. Yep. Well, Herzy picks up their Promethean Grotto.
Hersey is at 7 cards in hand to Cyber's 4. So things definitely don't look great, but also Cyber does have a in dire straits and RFE sitting in the graveyard, so they are functionally also at 7 cards in hand. So kind of
Yeah.
balances out.
And also, half of Herzy's cards don't do anything.
Yeah, that's a lot of tranquil reposes we have here.
Is there any good isolated targets?
Krufix. Krufix is a very good isolated target.
Is that literally it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I was gonna say is there like a monument or anything, but no, there's no like. Yeah, that's it. There's no utility lands you can snipe in the like land pile.
Okay, so now Herzy can slam Reheat, but they're not going to. They're gonna Psycho Promethean main phase.
They have another one behind it too. They have so many Promethean grottos.
Edge of the Water. Okay, they can slam that now.
Do you slam it into Cosmic Sinkhole?
Do you know your opponent has a Cosmic Sinkhole?
In hand? No. In deck? Yeah.
I mean, you can't really play around counter spells, right?
You can. You just need to like have enough blue mana to be able to
Okay, there's
cast on that.
Inventor Maze Collection.
All right.
Right.
Let's see how quickly this gets resolved.
No, wait. With the new Cockroaches build, wait, Cyber, you know Cockroaches can now make conjure tokens.
I don't know if Cyber knows that actually.
Cyber, you are using the latest Cockroach build, right?
It's funny that happened like in the middle of this tournament. Obviously, Cockatrice's schedule is not tied to MSEMs, but it's still funny.
Yeah, like just right after we commentated a game where Cyber was playing Maze Collection, and then we complained about how long it was taking. And right after you said that the pull request got rejected.
Yeah. Swipe Secrets is like So Swipe Secrets would be really bad if it resolved for Hersey, but it won't. Or like it's not going to resolve with enough mana for Sai to also like cast something scary off of it. It's like a 6 mana spell to do that.
Right.
Because it's 1 mana to play, then 2 plus another 4, or sorry, plus another 3 to cast Reheat or Edge of the Water, which are the 2 things you would be hoping to take.
And then their Maze Collection.
So Sai, let's see, 5.
Sai is beating down with their Ultim Surveyors again.
Yep.
Like 13 is actually surprisingly low right now.
I don't love this Swipe Secrets because like you're not going to be able to cast anything good off of it.
It's a hand reveal.
Yeah, I suppose there's a question of like how much do you value the hand reveal? That's fair.
Okay, and I'm also gonna reconnect this because you're kind of
I'll
Yeah.
redo it. I'll
All right. Hopefully that solves stuff. Anyways, so Cyber, why did Herzi take so long to think about whether they want to counter it or not?
Yeah, I think the correct decision here was in fact just let it resolve because there's nothing that Psy can take and cast. So all this does is it's 1 mana for Psy to tie up 2 of Herzi's mana next turn, which it's not an unfavorable trade, but it's not worth a card. So I don't love this decision.
I mean, you just take their Unraveling, and then they don't have a counter spell for your play this turn. No, wait, you have no plays this turn.
Yeah,
Well, I think you take their Unraveling anyways, because it gets rid of a counter spell from their hand. It makes it really annoying for them to counter something. Now Herzi untaps, and let's see what they draw. Land. Okay, that's good. Actually, they already had Promethean Grotto, so
yeah, but they need more blue sources. So this land means they can cast, or they in a hypothetical world could cast Edge of the Water with holding Unraveling backup, but they're gonna avoid taking any damage. Just pick the Unraveling backup off the board, play your land tapped, and you're losing this race right now, but it's not by a large margin.
yeah. And if you start losing, you can just start fogging.
Yeah,
I mean, I think you'll be ecstatic if Cyber starts wasting counter spells on fogs, right?
none of it means you're dying, but I generally, yeah.
Okay, Maze Collection number 2. Cyber, come on. Did you not read the update notes?
It's possible it's possible they don't have the update either, but
Is the old version compatible with the new server?
I have no idea. That's a good point.
I mean, I have to assume it is backwards compatible for now.
Have you tried doing any Conjure things with the new
No,
client?
because I haven't played any cards with Conjure.
Mm.
I also haven't tried
Yeah.
cascading yet with it because I have not played any cards that cascaded.
He's going to get to pick up an Unraveling, which is pretty great.
Yeah, both players have Unravelings now.
Cyber, if they wanted, could also draw the other Unraveling off Maze Collection. God, one Maze Collection is like enough branching decisions. The second Maze Collection is just so excessive. Because I can now choose to draw off their deck or off of either of the Maze Collections. I think the correct answer is off their deck because they want to hit another land. But
Well,
yep.
there's the land. Also, they have access to Mind Rip if they really want to, just to increase the size of the decision tree a little bit more.
I wonder if they're going to cycle the Typhoon Caverns, then replay Typhoon Caverns.
Yeah, it's not worth it, right?
So it's 3 mana to draw a card, basically, just be up a card. I don't think that's the angle you need to fight this game on. You have enough. Okay, so they are going to, though. They're holding off the mana to do it on their opponent's end step, which I get in some ways, but it does mean that you're down a land drop.
I feel like mana matters more than cards right now. Like, you have all the cards in the world, right? You have all this card quality that you have access to anytime you want. So you want mana right now, not cards.
Yeah, especially because you have like the In Dire Straits and RFE just sitting around in your graveyard.
Does Herzi have any way to grave hate those cards?
You don't think so, main deck.
So that means Herzi needs to counter them, or I guess just keep up fogs for them.
Yeah. Definitely tap the Promethean Grottos to cast your Edge of the Water.
So like you play Edge, and then if your opponent tries to kill it, you Psycho Tranquil Repulse so you can at least get one trigger off of it, right?
Sure, that seems like a reasonable line. I guess Herzi does know there's a face-up Unraveling, but you know that Sai knows that you have a Unraveling to counter it. So I'm not sure. Like I'm not sure how the decision tree forks from there, though.
Edge of the Water comes out. Let's see what Cyber does against that. They let it resolve, so Herzi's going to get at least one trigger off of it. I guess it's not a trigger. They're gonna get at least one replacement off of it.
At least one card off of it.
Yeah, well, it's not +1 card. It's like card selection, but close enough.
They will draw a card off of. They will loot at least once.
Psycho Typhoon Caverns. Herzi lets it happen.
That's not the scary Typhoon to cycle in the control mirror.
Well, it's also not in MSEM, so
it's true. There are no Shark Typhoons in MSEM yet.
I mean, what's the closest thing we have to a Shark Typhoon?
I don't know. There's probably something in Karina's explorations that's from the Australia plane that like throws a shark into the sky or something.
No, wait, wasn't there like a card where there was a plush shark in art, right?
Oh yeah, there's some Blahai card. You're totally right.
I'm blanking on the name of the card right now. I think it was like something a plush tea party, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Am I allowed to put that card in the chat right now, or is that considered outside information?
I don't think it's outside information, but I do think it would confuse players. I think doing it and saying this commentary purposes is reasonable.
Okay, it is called plush tea party, right? Yeah, there we go.
I suppose in many ways that is like a Shark Typhoon.
Yeah, it has
Not in
alternative cost.
but in many ways.
Unrelenting in response. What does that do?
Just draining you 3?
That
I mean, you don't need to do that in response, but okay.
why though? Wait, is Herdy just gonna die from these unrelentings? Like, there's what?
There is a lethal amount of burn underneath these unrelentings.
Yeah, Herdy can't stop burn from killing them, right?
Not so they need to counter it is the answer. Yeah, they don't have any main deck sources of life gain, I don't think.
What did they pitch to the edge of the water? They just heard isolated. I see.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Oh, so
Cyber's,
engine. I wonder if Cyber's gonna Celestial Banishment the Small Luxuries trigger.
Cyber's not gonna kill the edge of the water during their turn.
That's an interesting question. Why do they value holding 2 mana up? If the answer is Celestial Banishment, maybe Rahit?
Wait, then why did they unrelenting in response? They could have just held up unrelenting, right?
Yeah, it must have just been I want to get this through your counter magic window because you tapped off of 3 mana and I know you have an unraveling.
I mean, I guess it does make sense because unrelenting is guaranteed. Like, if you've cast enough of these things, your opponent just dies.
Yeah, but also getting them is slightly non-trivial. Like, Sai is going to have to draw quite a few cards.
You can dire straits your own Maze Collection libraries, right?
Yes.
Oh wait, can Rahit target archives?
Yes. That's. Wait, do you choose?
I mean, you're the judge here. So if they ask you, you have to answer.
I don't know archive rules thoroughly enough. Herzi's the one who designed this mechanic.
Okay, so maybe Herzi knows.
The effects controller chooses any library.
Oh, so Herzi gets to choose, right?
Yeah, so if Herzi did the Rahit on the second Maze Collection, Herzi could guaranteed give Sai the swipe secrets and lock the Unrelenting out.
Yeah, that seems probably better than flipping top cards, right?
Yep.
Herzi's gonna finally use their Unraveling, and it's at a time where Cyber is tapped out, so that's pretty useful.
Okay, and then Herzi gets to choose. Yeah, is going to hit the second Maze Collection. Do the line I described.
I mean, that does put Mind Rip on top, though. So if Cyber wants to play the Mind Rip game, oh, Herzi got a bad draw off for Heat.
Yeah, the best thing you have here is land, which, like, it's fine. You need to hit your lands. You have more Edge of the Waters. Like, you have things, but
much rather.
Sorry, I was going to say this Rahid interaction can come up in Arcanum Academia is limited because Arcanum Academia does have archive cards like in it at uncommon.
Oh yeah, the cycle of them, like the 3 what are those guys called? Spears?
Something like that.
The 1-mana artifacts.
Yep, is going to give over a swipe secrets, which honestly, like, yeah, I mean, Herzi does need to, I think, cast this Edge of the Water. You do not want Sai to have it. Okay,
they're gonna. Why are they holding up? Tranquil Moment? They're not gonna die to combat damage. Well, no, wait, they are going to die to Unraveling plus combat damage, though. Which is why did? Okay.
Well, not this turn, obviously, but.
Well, the thing is, they don't know if Herzi or if Cyber has more of these things.
They have the ability to just cast like 2 Scramble the Scouts though this turn.
I guess.
Or, like, they can I think beat the current number of Unravelings. It's worth remembering that Edge of the Water plus Small Luxuries means you go up +1 card every turn, which can add up.
Yeah, face for okay. I think Herzi needs to fog this, or else they're risking Unrelenting killing them. They're gonna scramble. I mean that now Herzi can't do anything else this turn.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, they could cast Small Luxuries, I suppose, but I don't think that's a good line.
They're probably gonna cast Small Luxuries if Cyber tries to blow up the Edge of the Water.
Maybe, although that doesn't like yeah, that's a fine line. I assume we're gonna see a swipe secrets here. Although side type tap 2 mana, which would be no good deed mana, maybe.
Yeah, they probably want to blow up. I mean, they can blow up both of Herzi's things, right? They have enough mana for that, and then they can still hold up. No, they can't hold up Cosmic after that.
Although, if you blow up one of Herzi's things, then Edge of the Water. Okay, so if you blow up Rahit first, Edge of the Water turns online, and then Herzi has access to like some spells. Okay, I think if you're Herzi, so you don't really have any options but to let Rahit go.
I mean, you don't have anything that can stop that, so yes, of course you do. Let that happen.
But I do think that if you were going to blow up Edge of the Water, it is correct to blow up Edge of the Water first. Yeah, I don't think it's correct for Herzi to cycle Small Luxuries. Herzi agrees.
So, Cyber's still letting Herzi get more edge triggers.
Yep.
I guess now Herzi plays edge number 2.
I think that's what we're seeing. This is actually a lot of mana advantage. Sai does not have. Sai only has 6 mana right now. I guess Sai probably just has to unravel. Okay. Cyber not unraveling this seems very
Herzi attacks? Okay, I guess it dies to unrelenting anyway, so there's no point in not attacking. But I feel like maybe Herzi should not have attacked all those turns because no, wait, Herzi would never have chumped the 1/3s either, so never
Yeah,
mind.
you only gain 1 life by doing that. Try 2 draws, so that's presumably gaining access to the Unrelenting in the second Maze collection.
Yeah, probably. And then this third
Oh,
one too.
and then you draw the third one, yeah.
Yeah.
So then you can potentially throw another 6 points of face burn. I wonder if we're gonna see, yeah, doing a little bit more shuffling around of these things.
Not the funnest thing to do on Cockatrice.
Could be worse,
Yeah,
technically.
could be worse. You could have had to make all the conjured cards yourself instead of having a script to do it for you. Like
Potentially true.
Cosmic Sinkhole. Well, Herzi has to fog this because I think they've already committed to fogging every attack from now on.
Yep, and I mean they have plenty of fogs.
Oh wait, they have 2 edge. The edges are active. Herzi has a 2-mana discount on all their spells now.
I do wonder if it's correct to lead with Tranquil Repose rather than like one of the ones that don't cantrip. Okay.
Well,
So I think I think you just cast another Tranquil Repose in response.
yeah, they have the Emperor.
David Emperor in response. Interesting. I don't super understand the flowchart. Like I think if you, because Cyber has the unraveling, right? That was known information.
Was that from the?
Yeah, that was from the collection.
Okay.
So I think
Cyber picks up Unrelenting number 2. So when's Cyber going to throw out these Unrelentings?
I think we'll probably see like one on Herzi's end step or something.
Does Herzi have main deck life gain?
Nope.
Oh, Herzi missed a trigger for luxuries. I see. Well, that's fine. They can still discard Isolated. I mean, that card's useless.
It's true, but that does turn off the small luxuries engine, which is a little bit rough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Herzi's out is for these unrelentings other than casting unravelings, which it's a little bit rough to then have to like watch this play out slowly but surely. But
yeah, okay, they can discard Speak No Evil and Burn Dominion. No, I mean that's Isolated and Burn Dominion.
Yep.
They're not. Wait, what? Why are they holding on to Isolated?
Maybe it's probably just to answer the Krufix, which like I don't know if that matters, but also it probably matters more than like the billionth land when you have 2 active Edge of the Waters.
Unrelenting.
Yep.
Actually, Cyber can grab a Rot and then blow up the board.
Drain Sweep. Oh, that also. Drain Sweep is worse than Drain plus make a token. No?
Actually, well, Fog, right?
Yeah, but the 1/1 doesn't do anything.
It's technically clocking Cyber down. Technically.
A 14 turn. I mean, the 2/2 blocks the 1/1.
Okay, Herzi's going to Fog on upkeep.
I mean, I'm not sure how much you care. So these Cosmic Sinkholes are effectively off. So you're now trying to win with Swipe Secrets, Unrelenting, and the rest of the cards in hand.
Herzi lets it happen.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna play on. Maybe just grab one of the Mind Rips.
Actually, yeah, good point. You grab Mind Rip and then you can force through your. You can like counter a Fog. Oh well, Cyber drew from top.
Herzi basically can't win if Cyber casts Mind Rip X equals 3 and steals the icon.
Good
And
point.
by basically, I mean, as long as Herzi can't blow up the icon, right? Can only isolate it. So yeah, Herzi is literally a 0-outer to Cyber stealing an icon.
They can still swing. Like Cyber's at
Win.
14.
What are they gonna swing with?
Do they have anything to swing with? Surely they have something to swing with.
Actually, okay, it's not a 0-outer because they could use Rahit to steal some of Cyber's win conditions. But given that Cyber has Rahit checkmated with no good deeds, it is functionally a 0-outer.
Yeah.
Okay, I am willing to say that this is a miserable matchup for Herzi.
Good.
And I'm a little bit displeased by how long we're probably gonna have to watch the suffering go on.
Good. You didn't face Herzi during your run, right?
I wish I did because this is such a free matchup for me.
How unfortunate. I wish you faced Herzi instead of me.
Yeah, unfortunately it was 3-0-0, so wasn't gonna happen. Very sad.
Okay, what's happening here? They use Swipe Secrets. Okay.
That
feels like an inefficient use of mana.
It is. This is just Cyber like trying to get value out of cards when that's just like not the angle that this game matters. Like that's not how you play this matchup.
Well, since nothing else is happening, I'm gonna take this opportunity to reconnect because you're starting to get mumbled again. So yep. Okay, it's Herzi cycles.
Project a little bit more. Maybe that'll help. but
Yeah. It's definitely no, it's not you. It's definitely something to do with the connection.
gotcha. Weird.
Yeah. Okay, so Herzi manages to cycle a Promethean Grotto with Edge of the Water out, draw some cards. I mean, technically, Herzi can deck themselves out pretty quickly.
This Unraveling is a good card to have. Like, now you are in less bad. Oh, I think we're going to see Hersey cast Unraveling to lock down Cyber's black sources, maybe? Oh, 3 blue sources, sure. Wait,
That
why the blue sources?
turns off Unraveling.
Yeah? Aren't you more worried about your opponent casting Unrelenting?
Well, the
I
thing
guess you
is,
can't stop them from doing that, like, at
you
all.
can't stop your opponent from casting Unrelenting, but you can
Oh,
stop your
no,
opponent from having
you
a
absolutely
counter.
could. You make it so the Falls, Swamp, and Nomad Township don't untap,
Yeah,
and then
but
your
they can
opponent.
just cast it next turn.
Sure.
What Herzi doesn't want to happen is Cyber countering their fog and then casting Unrelenting.
Yeah, but Cyber has cosmic sinkholes. And okay, Hersey did hit a studies past, which is nice.
How much are they casting it for? 3?
X equals 3.
They can get back Unraveling and Friends. I'm assuming the one is going to be small luxuries, so they probably just pick up Speak No Evil. Yeah.
And then like cast a fog on upkeep and functionally die when Cyber has a cosmic sinkhole.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, at least it ended quickly. And also Cyber won the game by being down with 1-3s.
Yep.
See, this is the sort of gameplay that you'll never see against an aggro deck.
Please, Sai, counter this.
Inco for
2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, if Hersey picked up Scramble the Scouts.
I guess can just cast another one with Edge of the Water, but like, you know.
Yeah.
It really feels like the inevitable is just being delayed here.
Oh, Cyber's tapped out now.
Yeah. There's nothing.
Cyber's not gonna attack. Oh, right. Fogged, right.
I guess as long as Cyber doesn't think to draw this Mind Rip, if Hersey manages to draw the icon before something gets Mind Ripped, Hersey is still very much in this game,
So
which is absolutely illegal.
they got another studies passed. They can grab some more stuff. I guess they can like main phase Unraveling and then to deep tap the opponent again.
I don't dislike that actually. Studies Pass tucks itself each time. So there will be 2 on the bottom right now. So this can recur a land, a 1, a 2, and a 3. So 2 is going to be Speak No Evil. 3 is probably going to be is maybe deciding against the Unraveling.
I mean okay. Well, if they wanted to play Unraveling main phase, they already synchronized it improperly, so they're not gonna go for Unraveling.
Yeah, true.
They're probably just gonna pick up another Promethean Grotto.
I mean, honestly, well, you can't pick up 2. I was gonna say maybe they're picking up Raw Hit because you do need to start getting additional card flow going.
And Rahid can also burn up the Maze Colette. No, wait, Rahid forces you to give your opponent a card, so you can't actually Mind Rip or get rid of the Mind Rips with Rahid.
Yeah, you can get rid of 1 Mind Rip, but your opponent gets the other. And if you're denying them 1 Mind Rip, you're giving them a Unraveling, which doesn't feel fantastic.
Okay, Cyber gets to fully untap.
Stopping on upkeep to give Hersey a chance to Tranquil Repose.
He's not going to take the offer.
So Flooded Depths does bring us up to mana 7. In Dire Straits currently costs 8 to coalesce, or reconstruct rather.
Okay, Hersey, let's see if you fog here.
Given the known Unrelenting in hand, I assume we're going to see that one.
Scramble Scouts. Is Cyber going to counter it?
I think it would be incorrect to do so.
I agree. So Cyber lets it resolve and Hersey lives for 1 more turn.
I guess you probably just like cast an in Dire Straits from hand and pick up a Mind Rip and Unraveling.
Actually, yeah, good point. I mean, that's probably good enough.
You know your opponent has 2 Unravelings in hand? You know at least 1. I think you know 2. But I'll admit I've lost track.
They're going to blow up the Edge of the Water. Okay, Hersey, let's see what you do in response.
Is Hersey willing to fight over this Edge of the Water?
No, it's...
I feel like they kind of have to, no? Like...
That feels bad.
You really don't want to. But... This Edge of the Water is one of the only things keep you in this game in terms of cards.
They are going to fight over it. Alright, the Cyber fight over it.
Cyber can't Cosmic Sinkhole this.
Right. Well, they're going to do something against it.
The Unrelenting in response?
I mean, I guess that's useful because at least that means one of the Unravelings isn't in the yard. So
okay, yeah, no, it denies your opponent a card from the ability to choose. Sure.
Yeah. Well, Hersey has to counter this, so, I mean...
Yep, I agree.
So that's a lot of pressure off Hersey's shoulders because they finally got rid of the Unrelenting.
Yeah.
Counter deep, Hersey, that's not how it works.
Yep.
Please notice before we have to
Yeah.
step in. Okay, good.
I think Cyber made that play intentionally to avoid any additional value, so I think Cyber would have caught it.
Okay, now Herzi gets a tap out for Promethean Grotto.
Did Hersey miss the small luxuries trigger?
I don't remember.
Small luxury. No, that was a discard to maximum hand size. Yeah. End of second main. Oh, are we gonna cast the small luxuries in hand? Yeah. Oh, cycle Promethean Grotto. Obviously. What am I saying?
Yeah, of course. And they get to discard small luxuries again.
Yep. And then second main, they pick up both copies of these.
So I mean,
I don't know. I feel like Hersey is clawing their way back into this, but it's not. I think Cyber misevaluated their role in the matchup / like what resources they needed to focus on.
Yeah, probably. Okay, pitches small luxuries.
I wonder if we're going to see an isolated on the isolated.
Huh. That actually, wait, does that work?
Yep, dependencies.
So what happens? Does one of the isolated go to the graveyard?
So I believe the isolateds stick and play, but neither of them. But they functionally are off.
But now we have an aura that's not attached to anything, right? Because then the edge of the water. Wait.
So enchant permanent basically restricts what it can attach to. It doesn't grant it permission to attach to things. The aura type is what grants it permission to attach to things.
Right. So
if it loses enchant permanent, it can be hanging out.
Right. So you have an isolated enchanting edge of the water.
Yep.
I see.
So we didn't do that play. We're just gonna cast a Tranquil Repose.
I think Herzi didn't realize that they could make that play.
Or maybe there's like some other reason they're holding onto this isolated.
Yeah, I feel like if you knew about this, you probably would have done it.
Yeah, maybe that's fair. We're gonna reveal eternities to grab unravel to like grab Mind Rip or something.
Yep, they're taking Mind Rip and they're going to cast it for X=1.
I think you're like kind of fine with this if you're Hersey, because again, Mind Rip X=3 functionally loses you the game, especially when you have 18 cards left in library.
And I don't think Cyber realizes that, so they're just gonna Mind Rip for 1. I mean, what can X=1 get you? They're gonna Tranquil Repose in response. Cyber surprisingly not having any counterspells right now. And let's see what's left in their deck. Yeah, you can grab a small luxuries and cast it.
Yep, that's true. That's value right there.
It still goes into Herzi's yard, but I mean, you don't mind small luxuries hanging out in the yard because it didn't get there from hand or library.
It's a little bit awkward that Cyber is shuffling Herzi's deck for her, because then Studies Past can be redrawn.
Right. Or Cyber plays Scramble Scouts to thin a fog out of Herzi's deck.
That is a legal play.
I mean, is it even that incorrect? Like, Herzi has a limited number of fogs, right?
Herzi's not going to run out of fogs before they run out of cards in deck.
So Cyber gets a Cursory Glance, which is a hard counter, and they tap out. Wait, how are they tapped out?
They had to cast Mind Rip X=1, plus they spent 2 mana to put that Mind Rip in hand, so that's 6 mana.
Okay, Herzi gets to do stuff at this turn too.
So actually, I mean, you didn't know you were going to draw the Cursory Glance, right? That was that one. So I guess you didn't, but like you can look at your opponent's deck. There's nothing that you gain off of casting freaking Mind Rip X=1. Like if you just had the extra mana open, you then have the ability to draw into like a no good deed or something and blow up Herzi's Edge of the Water, or otherwise like fuck with the engine.
Right.
Yep, draws another Studies Past. This is good.
Cool.
Oh man.
All right. So how much is Herzi going to Studies Past for?
Hersey doesn't actually get value of Studies Passing for more than 4, because their entire deck is mana value 1, 2, 3, and 0.
Yep.
Which is one of those things where I think that's good deck building in some ways, because it means that you get online faster, and it's also unfortunate deck building in this one specific context when it limits how much insane value you could possibly achieve.
They're going to, or X=, is this 4 or 3? It's 3, right?
That's for 4, because Edge of the Water plus each prismatic
right.
1 mana.
You know, if they isolated the edge of the isolated, they could have cast it for even less.
It's true. Actually, wait, no, that would have been strictly good, because it costs 1 mana to isolate, so you'd have the Promethean Grotto for that because you have the onsen. So you could have this exact same board state, but you have a extra Edge of the Water ongoing.
I think at this point, Herzi just forgot that you can't isolate it and isolated.
I think Hersey's currently checking to see if isolating an isolate is worth.
Oh, what? They're going to not grab Unraveling?
Yeah. They're changing their mind.
Okay,
I understand the Pip can yell at me if not. So what Herzi is referring to is there is basically a rule in the MTR that says you are allowed to do a takeback as long as you didn't get any additional information. And so what Herzi is saying is since Psy is tapped out, there's not really any information that Psy can like give Herzi. So Herzi's just still trying to make decisions.
so they're gonna take Edge of the Water instead.
Yeah. Okay.
You,
Um,
you know, you could have gotten another Edge of the Water just by isolating the isolated. You didn't have to waste one of your.
I mean, is it even? You can still right now cast isolated on the isolate, and then cast a second edge of the or third edge of the water for one more mana. Like
I don't think Herzi is doing that because yeah.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe isolated doesn't work that way, but I don't see why it wouldn't. It's the same layer. Like there's no weird layer stuff going on there.
No Promethean Grotto.
Yeah, again, just needs to get this icon out of their library and into their hand.
Vantage Point. I mean, that
Your opponent's tapped out. Vantage Point feels good. You cast it, you draw 6 cards.
aren't you
You
kind of tapped out?
do you care?
Maybe your opponent finds some way of getting another Unraveling. I mean, Unrelenting. No, wait, that still doesn't matter.
Yeah. They also can't. They don't have any way of regrowing a maze collection, and they don't run any main deck. Or sorry, they run 4 main deck maze collections. Yeesh. Okay. Still, I don't think it's an issue realistically.
I mean, you always cast Vantage Point here, and then you get to draw
6 card.
6 cards to scar 2. You can start pitching your Speak No Evils.
Your opponent can't possibly counter your shit because they're tapped out.
Yeah. Maybe you'll actually realize that you can isolate your isolate the isolated. Now that you have 2 isolated in hands.
I think Hershey's like overwhelmingly favored at this point, which makes me somewhat staggered, I will say.
I mean, hasn't the game's always been very surprising against Herzi? Like in the match versus Ravos on Blue Green Ramp, or I mean Teamer Ramp, Ravos.
I think there was like only one spot where Dravos looked like they were in like an unlosable situation, and then they drew 8 turns of lands.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But I like in the Swiss, Hersey had like a couple of opponents just like miss lethal on them. So I think Hersey is getting away with things. Okay, draws the Icons portal. You're fucking good to go.
How much counterspell backup do you have right now?
I'm counting 2 at least, which is probably plenty.
Wait, does Herzi just deck out if they don't cast Icons Portal next turn?
Yeah.
So they need to resolve it next turn, or else they lose.
But they also need to resolve it eventually, or else they lose. So.
Well, let's see how many counterspells Cyber can pull up.
So Cyber grabs the Mind Rip and then has the ability to represent Mind Rip, Cosmic Sinkhole, and Cursory Glance, but can't actually get a good Cosmic Sinkhole off because of Herzi's mana advantage.
How much does Herzi have to tap out in order to cast other things? Because the Unravelings can't get double discounted, so it's like at least 6 mana to do other things.
The Onzens are making it basically free though.
Oh right, Prismatic Caverns are 2 mana each, right? I forgot. Okay, yeah. Herzi has a lot more mana than it looks on board because of the Prismatic Caverns.
Well, the Prismatic Caverns generating generic mana is kind of useless at this point because of double Edge of the Waters.
It can be put towards cycling Promethean Grotto for the win.
It's true.
So I think right now Cyber needs to start blowing up the Edge of the Waters.
That's a good question. I mean, is it worth spending 4 mana to blow up an Edge of the Water?
Probably not.
That takes you off of, like, it means, so you need to have at least 5 mana to represent both Mind Rip plus Cursory Glance. And then I think you convince yourself that you need the remaining 2 mana to Cosmic, or remaining 2 mana? Remaining 3 mana to Cosmic Sinkhole. But with the information that we have, Sai just looks kind of dead here.
Yeah. You know, Herzi would have been doing a lot better right now if they remember to isolate the isolated.
Hey, I think that basically the end result is fine. It's incorrect, but we have to come up with better material than this.
Look, they could have had like at least 2 more mana up right now because they wouldn't have to overpay for so much.
Hershey's also just like chilling, right? Like Vantage Point means that they've and oh, in the remaining cards in deck, there's still another one of the regrowths for them to draw.
Well,
so they can
actually they have 2, right? More. Because they shuffled them in.
But one of them is on the bottom right now because they haven't shuffled since that.
Right.
It bottoms doesn't shuffle in. So one could be in the top 3. One we know is the 5th card. But if they draw one, they can pick up an Unraveling and a Promethean Grotto. And yeah, honestly, maybe you are meant to spend. So you don't have 8 mana. Wait, you do have 8 mana. Okay, here's the line. You sacrifice both of your creatures to cast No Good Deed twice to blow up 2 Edge of the Waters.
How much
Oh,
does it
wait,
cost to
it costs 4 to reconstruct, but that's irrelevant because Herzi just plays Icon, mills the rest of the library. You know there's a Promethean Grotto in hand. So yeah, I think Cyber is dead to known information.
Herzi's also just as surprised about this victory.
Yeah.
I think Herzi's really living the Turbofog player dream right now.
I mean, Herzi still needs to win the post-board matches, and this does not feel like a matchup that gets better post-board. I mean, actually, that's not true. You get 4 copies of Clear the Correlate Court. This matchup gets so easy next at post-board.
It's not that easy. I mean, Cyber now knows to bring in some Grave Hate, right?
Their Grave Hate is the Moon Rises, which is like pretty good in this matchup, but it's not like insane.
I mean, like if you played the Moon Rises right now, Herzi would be screwed. Wait, no, they wouldn't. Or would they? I mean, it costs 9 mana to do everything after that.
They still have like 1 million mana in play. Like if you turn off the Edge of the Waters, these Prismatic Caverns generating generic mana matters again.
Right.
I mean, if that was an untapped land, they'd be still in a bad spot.
I think Cyber just given up and decided to see what's on top.
Well, at that point, you can just say, I concede, I want to draw to see what was on top of my deck, and then do that.
Okay, but look, it gives Herzi the satisfaction of actually winning.
Is there an out to draw to? What is the out?
Mind Rip, and hope there's no Icons Portal.
I don't think that's an out.
Well, I guess that's...
Is it Death in Reverse? Celestial Banishment to put... Wait, but you know the Unravelings. That's still not an out. Yeah, I disagree with Cyber. There was not an out to draw to.
Well, Cyber's just going to concede here.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay, that's game 1. So right now the timer says it's been over an hour.
So in terms of sideboarding, I think we're going to see the stand-on syllables come in, or some number of them at least, to prevent any unrelenting bullshit.
Yep.
We get to board in some Secrets of the Correlate Court, which is huge in this matchup.
You get to board in some Privileges way to have more counter spells.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, like, are those better than Day of the Emperors or something? And on Cyber's side, you presumably board out some Rots, but you're kind of configured for this matchup main deck. You get access to Thought Blossoms, Moonrises, maybe Chilis, but Chili feels like a weird... So often when Cyber's playing against other like control decks or like removal light decks, Chili is a great in, but relying on Chili versus the Turbofog deck feels incredibly suspect.
Well, I mean, it forces Herzi to start fogging a lot earlier. Like that was my plan against Herzi when I was playing my match against them, where I just wanted to force them to start fogging early so that they had less mana to develop, and then hopefully I had some ways to get around the fogs for the win.
The fact that Herzi won the game on the draw is also huge.
Yeah. You bring in Archive Guardian. That feels like a weird card to run one of in the sideboard.
I'm certain that they're for some purpose, and I don't know what it is. I assume it's similar to Oil the Mind, where it's to prevent you from decking out in specific spots. I don't know what your cuts are in this matchup. Like, your fogs are pretty good. They're not...
Nah, you can afford to cut some.
Yeah.
Oh, Isolated, actually. You cut Isolated.
Yeah, I guess Isolated is the worst card in your deck. So you're cutting 4 Isolateds.
Some Mark of the Scale Blights, maybe?
Maybe cut Mark of the Scale Blight. Maybe cut some number of, like, Day of the Emperor or something. But you cut some combination of those.
Actually, Cyber kept in other Rots, because Rot does hit Herzi's entire board.
Yeah, but the only thing that you're answering with Rot is, like, because you're not answering an Icons Portal. You're realistically just answering Rot hit and then, like, Edge of the Waters, right?
That's good, right? Because, like, for example, if Herzi has an Edge and a Reheat out and their engine going, and you Rot out that, it's pretty good for you.
But is that better than, like, Thought Blossoms or the Moon Rises?
Well, you're boarding out other cards, right? You don't need to board out...
You don't have that many other cards. Like, I think Rot, if it's not the worst card in your deck for this matchup, it's one of the worst cards in your deck for this matchup.
Right. Wait, why did Cyber keep that hand? I guess turn 2 Maze Collection and just draw off the Maze Collection?
Yeah, and you just continue drawing off the Maze Collection and it's all gas. You don't have any pressure, though. Like, unless Cyber tries to go for the checkmate that I was describing of Mind Rip X equals 3, remove the Icons Portal, but...
I think Cyber probably has marched up to that plan, so, like, they probably want to go for that plan.
If that's something they're aware of, definitely. But I feel like the way they played last game would have been different if they had thought of that. But it's also possible they didn't think of that until they cast the first, like, Mind Rip and saw, like, oh, wait, I would have won here if I had been
Yeah.
able to snag this icon.
Anyway, Cyber still doing conjuring the cards the slow way.
Yeah, I mean, not they have not had any new information given to them to cause them to change that pattern partway through this game.
I mean, if we saw Cyber relog, that would have at least been a sign. But I don't think Cyber relogged.
I agree, but they don't know that they don't have access to it. Is my point.
Didn't like
They're not-
Cockatrice tell you
So okay,
about the update?
right. I'm saying if they didn't know initially, they don't know now
Right.
because they have not gained any additional information during the course of this cast. Wait, why did they draw off the top of their library?
I think they just forgot, or it's because swipe secrets is on. Wait,
You just want to draw through it though.
wait, did Cyber forget to draw off the ETB?
No, through the unrelenting.
Oh,
So we're gonna just cast unrelenting in response.
that's a weird time to cast it.
No, I mean, yeah, I guess like what you're worried about your opponent countering it.
Are you not gonna tutor for a crew fix? It drained 3 life right now. Is super non-impactful.
Yeah, I feel like this is an over adjustment from last game where Sai clearly realized, oh, unrelenting is one of my ways of forcing through damage, and then because like I don't know, is drain 3 life even better there than creating a 2/2?
Well, it looks like Cyber's gonna get swipe secrets, and they're gonna lose 2 uncards.
Yeah, the unraveling and unrelenting is kind of a brutal loss.
Hey,
Did
at least
boarding mind.
they still get to take mind rip off the top, so Cyber's gonna be holding a mind rip the whole game, and Herzi needs to play around that. Herzi brought in oil to mind. Well, I guess it's a way to win if your opponent exiles Icon.
Yeah, I wonder if it's there as like a mill win condition or it's there as a way of like bailing yourself out if you would mill, because you can cast it from your graveyard during your upkeep to put a fatigue on top of your deck. But there feels like there's something funky happening here.
Alright, Cyber takes a mind rip. Are they going to... They're gonna probably just play swipe secrets and... Oh, they're going to rot the reheat. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, functionally just trading 1 for 1. Like,
a lot of fiddly stuff to do after Reheat goes to the yard and Maze Collection goes to the yard. That's one of the downsides I'm playing on Cockatrice. Cockatrice just doesn't really handle extra zones very well, or at least having to separate non-battlefield zones.
yeah.
Hey, another Reheat off the top. Slam Reheat, play Prismatic Cavern, no Edge of the Water, and pick up Grotto. Cyber is going to draw. Okay, do they take the Unraveling now? I feel like the order that Cyber drew their cards in feels weird. Like they could have taken the Unraveling at any time because it was on top, so they didn't really need to take it now, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, I suppose.
Alright, so do you rot again to... Oh, Cyber's gonna rot again to just blow up the Edge of the Water.
Sure.
That seems like an overreaction.
I mean, I think this is one of the reasons why Rock kind of feels questionable in this matchup, because you could have maybe like held onto it and hoped your opponent played more into it, but there's a chance they just don't, and you do need to stop them from continuing to do Edge of the Water stuff eventually. So you kind of have to cast it there if you include it, but it just feels kind of sad.
And now you missed the second Edge of the Water.
Yeah.
I think Cyber's at enough mana where Swipe Secrets might be able to hit something.
You need to have 6 mana for Swipe Secrets to do anything. Cyber does have 6 mana, so they can Swipe Secrets, hit Reheat, cast Reheat, and that does put them in a good spot. Reheat is very difficult for Herzi's deck to beat, ironically. But we'll see how that pans out.
I mean, Herzi can't counter that, right?
Nope.
They're tapped out. Oh, they're gonna play Secrets of Corelight Court
now.
now.
No, this is smart because they're going to use Edge of the Water to discard the Reheat.
Ah, I see. Well, I mean, it still got rid of the Reheat, so like close enough, right?
Yeah. I mean, no, not quite close enough because getting this Reheat would make Herzi's life like really bad, whereas just removing the Reheat from hand is just regular bad.
Wait, what? Herzi? What did Herzi discard?
The second Secrets of Corelight Court. So is going to let Cyber take Reheat.
I think they just like blanked. Like they assumed that Cyber's
No,
not...
I don't think so. I think like I don't think Herzi would just blank in that spot. I think there's some reason why they don't care about Reheat, even if we think they should. So maybe
can't Reheat exile Icon eventually?
Yeah, if you get unlucky. But maybe Herzi just like boarded in a way that means they're not worried about Reheat.
Yeah, Oil to Mind. Their win condition is Oil to Mind now.
I guess Oil of Mind does like kind of win the game eventually. So
yeah, and plus Reheat makes Cyber more vulnerable to Oil to Mind eventually. That's a
grab
pretty good death in reverse.
This rot does not feel particularly good, so presumably grabs Death in Reverse for Cyber and then Mysterious Cataracts for Herzi.
Yeah.
And this is the third edge of the water. Yeah, third edge of the water of 4.
A lot of edging going on here. Unfortunately, Cyber's not gonna let Herzi edge them very much this game because they keep blowing up the edges.
Yeah.
Also, I'm surprised that they decided to give Herzi Mysterious Cataract instead of Lush Oasis. Actually, maybe there wasn't a difference. My thinking was that if you give them Mysterious Cataract, Herzi can thin more, but I guess that doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, but it maybe cost them 2 life, or like it's a tap land, so that's probably a comparable value.
Actually, no, taking Lush Oasis means that there's less fetchables in Herzi's deck, so eventually it's just gonna run out, and then, I don't know, Herzi draws dead lands or something. Okay, let's see if Herzi cycles Promethean Grotto main phase. Nope, they're gonna play Stand Unassailable. Actually, how can Cyber kill Herzi?
Well, with the cards in hand and the way this game's been going, there's not a lot of good ways. Like, Cyber did need to actually get pressure on the battlefield at some point. So I'm curious if we're going to see Cyber plus Raheat again, or 0 to be able to cast an Edge of the Water.
Edge on edge.
Yep.
Edge gaming.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Oh, Celestial Banishment. That hits absolutely nothing, right?
It hits Raheats.
Right now.
And Kind of Icon, yeah, does nothing right now.
Also, I don't think Celestial Banishment actually stops Icon from winning if Herzi's in a good enough position, because it just bombs their Icon, which is,
Yeah, so if there's the wrong number of cards in library versus Edge of the Water's optional. Yeah.
Okay, it is optional. Presumably they made it that way so you wouldn't have to call a judge for missed triggers, or I guess missed replacement effects, which are more annoying than missed triggers, right?
No, I think I just made it that way so you like didn't have to draw on an empty deck or something.
Okay, Unraveling versus Unraveling. Hey, look at the mirror match right now. 2 Unravelings and 2 Edge of the Waters.
True.
Does Herzi have a way to blow up anything on Cyber's board? Secrets of Coralite Court. How many secrets is Herzi? They have a
4.
lot of secrets.
They have 2 in their graveyard already. I assume they boarded in the full playset. What is this? Is that going to be like a...
That feels incorrect if they're gonna Tranquil. Oh, they're gonna coalesce Stand Unassailable.
Nope, that feels good actually. Now they have a 6/4 or 7. Yeah, 6/4 that can thread and raw hit.
Wait, is Herzi going to win by combat damage?
They bragged about doing it previously.
Yeah, and this time they didn't even have to steal it from their opponent. Okay, there's a Grave Hate. So when do you slam the Moon Rises? Do you wait until your opponent has more things in yard?
I don't think I would. Like, right now, you turn off the Edge of the Water for a bit, you hit 2 Secrets of the Coralite Court and a Promethean Grotto, and Oil the Mind.
Oh yeah, Oil the Mind. That means that Herzi's alternate win condition doesn't work anymore.
Instead, we're going to see Cyber cast a RFE from Graveyard.
Cyber's zeroing Raheat a lot more aggressively than Herzi ever does.
I think that's also because, like, Cyber would rather have the raw card advantage, and Herzi's looking for specific cards more often.
Right. But I'm honestly surprised by how little Herzi ever zeros Raheat when they're playing with it. Right, I'm about to be logged out for inactivity.
Happens to the best of us. Why am I not being logged out for inactivity?
I think you're active in chat a bit more than I am.
Did I say something after you said the plushie thing?
Well, who knows?
Sufficiently long casts do strange things to the mind.
Yeah, recall forgotten Aeons. Cyber coalesces it and taps out. Is this a mistake? Probably.
I mean, what's the punish?
Not being able to mind rip for 3.
Herzi can't kill the RFE without swinging with a stand unassailable, so this protects the raw hit for another turn.
Right. Okay, so Herzi needs to find an isolated for the Raheat. Edge of the Water is also good. So we've seen all 4 edges now.
I would not recommend casting an Edge of the Water into this board state until the Raheat is dealt with, just because there's that rot underneath Raheat still.
Well.
I guess if your opponent rots, it does kill the Raheat and their Edge of the Water and the RFE. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That feels weird.
Even if they try to rot, you can Tranquil Repose in response so that you at least get, or you can cycle the Promethean Grotto in response so that you at least get 1 edge trigger.
Some value off of it, and then the Moon rises you and you're very sad. But
yeah,
I think you throw the stand unassailable at the Raheat, like offer the trade. You want to try to take this Raheat off.
I should have played the edge post combat then. Okay, so now how's Herzi gonna deal with the Raheat?
I think it's still the same plan of like find and cast another stand unassailable or hit the isolated.
Ooh, Thought Blossom. That's a good draw. Anyways, Cyber can blow up all of Herzi's edges if they want to.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because Cyber like kind of has infinite stuff, and all of the stuff is very good and powerful, lines up well into what Hersey's doing. But they don't have any like win conditions yet. The Moon Rises like takes 31 turns to kill Hersey, which is enough time for Hersey to draw the rest of their deck,
Well, yes, but as long as Mind Rip exists, Hersey can't win.
except via like unraveling stuff. So
Yeah.
you definitely wait. Is playing the Nebula not the rot? Interesting.
I
So
think
just gonna Sai basically is okay with Edge of the Water battle. Feels that they are far enough ahead that they're okay with both players continuing to get a bunch of card advantage. Um, I do feel like rotting and then playing the Moonrises to just like get rid of all of this material probably favors you when you're up, like when you have 7 cards in hand to your opponent's 4. But
you can just blow everything up without having to blow your things up too.
I guess I wonder if we're gonna see a unraveling in response.
Probably
Which is
not.
probably catch a thought blossom. Yeah, I feel like if you're in Hersey's spot, you have to assume that Cyber has like a million counter spells. In that case, maybe just use Cycle the Promethean Grotto to start.
But at the same time, do you want to play around Cosmic Sinkhole?
I have no idea
Nope, they're just playing Unraveling. Or no, they're not.
because they feel awkward about them floating mana. Maybe
Oh, they're just gonna cycle Promethean Grotto with the remaining mana. Oh, they're gonna. Oh, they can Corelight Court to make Unraveling uncounterable. And I mean, this does work, but counter draw reprise. Oh yeah, they have another Unraveling in Yard. I mean, that's not bad. Like you get you get 2 draws here, so you get some edge triggers. One float. Wait, where's the one floating coming from? Oh,
Edge of the Water,
edges are making
Prismatic.
your things deep, right?
Yeah, the fact that I forgot how Secrets plus Unraveling. Wait, God, this was another missed win
What?
because like it's not just Mind Rips here. You don't need to counter something for Mind Rip to steal.
Right.
So Sai definitely is not playing with the knowledge of if I just mind rip the eye, can I basically win? Because Hersey tapped out of blue mana. Who's to say when you'll next have a window where Hersey doesn't have unraveling backup?
Did Hersey not? Why did Hersey discard the Promethean Grotto? They could have cycled for another edge trigger.
They didn't have 2 mana.
Don't they have like 1 floating and plus a swamp?
Oh, that's true. That's true. They could have.
Oh, and now I have to reconnect. Cool.
Well, Sai just played the Moon Rises, so this will hit like a bunch of Hersey's graveyard, but Hersey did technically get some amount of value out of like did get value. So this does hit the small luxuries. Like it's definitely good.
Yeah,
Hersey did get one of the core like court things. It hits oil. I don't know. I definitely am just like a little bit thrown off because Sai just had the win there and instead is like fucking around and taking more game actions. And I don't necessarily think those game actions won't result in a win, but
it's harder for us because we have to commentate all this.
yeah, there's more things happening.
I mean, isn't it great? They're giving us longer videos. People love more content, right?
Is that? Let us know in the chat. Wow,
Hey,
just immediately draws another Secret Lake Court and an Edge of the Water. Feels pretty good, honestly.
yeah. Unfortunately, you have to pay full cost for the edge, but
Life is so difficult sometimes. I swear to God, if okay, so we're just gonna cursory glance.
is Hersey going to do the thing again? I think they should.
Yeah, I agree.
No, Hersey, don't play a naked unraveling. That's gonna get countered.
I think you're just assuming your opponent doesn't have Thought Blossom. But
They could also have another cursory glance or a cosmic sinkhole or literally anything.
I guess it's just not that high value to because this is your last secrets. So
Well, now Cyber has an unraveling in hand.
yeah, it's fine. I think this is incorrect on Hersey's part, but like I think it's a defensible mistake.
Okay, so now you cycle the tranquil reposes, right? You have 31 life. You don't really care.
Concede there.
Wait, what?
I think Hersey's just saving us time is the answer. Or it's possible Hersey boarded in a way which is like boarded away from Ayakin, maybe? That seems insane. There's no way that's the case.
I mean, it does prevent them from losing to Mind Rip.
Yeah, but you don't need to board out the Ayakins to do that.
Right. I think Hersey is just saving us time. Like,
Yeah, I think it's not a 0 outer, but it's a bad enough odds that I think it's super respectable.
or it's negative EV to keep playing.
Yeah, definitely negative light VV.
Not a lot of one drop, or not a lot of early game, but definitely has some things to do. Alright, Hersey has a bunch of stands. They're gonna cycle secrets now. And okay, there's the land. They got exactly what they need. And Hersey gets a land at turn 3 or heat.
Yeah, and Sai has the like, kind of a slow hand, honestly. Has 2 RFEs, so is looking to play the long game right now. Has some rots, has death and reverse, like has a lot of different angles covered. If Herzy is leaning super hard on Edge of the Waters, but like this reheat is going to get at least 2 activations.
Herzy might be scared enough that they just death in reverse instead of no wait, that just lets Herzy redraw it. Never mind.
That would get a second
Wait,
activation.
what? What's Herzy keeping up?
Promethean Grotto.
That
Like,
feels worse than reheat.
I think just doesn't want to play into a cursory glance, which is kind of reasonable.
Okay, but what do you do? Okay, I guess you can cycle Promethean Grotto. Like it's technically fine. Okay, does Herzy want to play into a Cosmic Sinkhole?
You don't even need to play into a Cosmic Sinkhole because you played in Grotto.
Or, Mysterious Cataract, that also works.
Also true.
Small luxuries, that's excellent.
Doesn't have any way of starting to proc it yet.
But that's fine, because you have Reheat, and you have basically everything you want in this matchup, right? Other than the Edge of the Waters.
Mm-hmm.
Reheat +1s, let's see what Cyber flips. Huh, well, that's gonna be a tough decision for Herzy.
Is it? I think you just hand them the in Dire Straits, or you hand them the Reveal Eternity. Either of those is like kind of fine. You ensure they don't get the Thought Blossom, definitely. I think you give them the Reveal Eternities. Like they already have an RFE graveyard. They have infinite cards.
I guess, yeah, that's fine. They're gonna take Herzy takes secrets. They're not gonna take Reheat #2. I mean, that makes sense, but
yeah, I think you just don't like have a need to like cast or use it right now.
I guess if you like put secrets under Reheat, you're basically never gonna get it out of exile. Because that's one reason to do that. I feel like taking Reheat #2 would have been useful in case your opponent blows up the Reheat, which they have a million ways of doing right now. Hey look, crew fix. Is Cyber going to draw a bug fix on curve? Nope, they're just gonna rot the Reheat. 4 mana for 3 mana. Both
Yeah, so
tempo negative and it's also card advantage negative because Reheat got plus.
Well, Reheat's plus is card advantage neutral, so
right.
It's even on cards. It's just kind of bad.
Let go secrets end of turn. Draw another land.
Definitely wish you could fight the.
Well, I guess you didn't have to take the second Reheat because you drew the third one.
Got there. I think you just cast it. Yeah.
Yeah,
your opponent can't like stop you.
Cyber definitely not feeling great about this. Or no, they probably are feeling great because look at their hand. They have all the counter spells in the world.
Yeah, I don't think they care a ton yet, at least. But also, like Reheat's plus, if your opponent is full on cards and you aren't, definitely kind of favors you a little bit.
Hey, look, that's a Maze Collection Cyber is not going to get.
Yep.
And that's an Edge of the Water that Herzy's going to get. Or
yeah, I think you can cast and play Edge of the Water. It does mean that if your opponent has kept in all of their rots, you get a little bit sad maybe, but like
it means
Cyber can't have kept in all 4 rots, right?
You also don't get an edge trigger immediately.
Yeah.
It's fine. Reggie takes Unraveling, which is the safe option.
Okay. And then can like counter a play next turn. Because you know that if you just gave Cyber their 7th land, so you know that they can RFE next turn, right? No, they have 5 mana in play.
Wait, Cyber did Herzy already play a land this turn?
Oh, Herzy might have played the Grotto this turn.
Okay, yeah, they can't hold up anything.
Yep, sorry, I played the Wash Oasis this turn.
Technically they can hold up Speak No Evil, and they can Speak No Evil to fetch land.
That is not how. Oh yeah, no, it totally is how. Sorry, I was getting Speak No Evil and Celestial Banishment confused.
Yeah, I have no idea why this card also lets you hit land triggers. I mean, also like I didn't realize that this card was choose 1 or more until I play against Herzy, and I realized that it is choose 1 or more because I don't know why it does that for some reason. I feel like it would still be good enough just if it was choose 1, but I guess fogs are not that great, so they felt like they need to buff it. So Cyber can play their crew fix. I don't think they want to, but
just replay up.
Can.
I mean, if they don't, they need to play something that isn't card positive, or else they are going to have to discard cards to hand size. So I think are we going to just see a reverse on Reheat?
No, they're going to RFE again because they want to get land plays. Or no, they're not.
Yeah, I don't know how much RFE helps.
I mean, if you draw another land, then I think you go card neutral, so then you can still not discard to hand size.
No, you're up to 9 cards in hand, you get 1 extra land play, so you're still down to 8.
You go up to 9 cards, and then did Cyber already play a land this turn?
Yes.
Oh.
Played the Wayfarer Shrine.
Alright, time to slam crew fix. You're fine slamming crew fix here because you also can hold up Reveal Eternities, and crew fix lets Reveal Eternities cost a lot less.
Yeah, once you're casting it from the yard.
Wait, they're just gonna main phase the what? Oh.
This is fine. This kills a secrets, right? Does it clear 2 secrets? It clears 2 secrets.
Oh,
Yeah, and it gets you a clock in play. I don't know if you think it's unlikely for you to cursory glance. This seems. Oh wait, you can stifle the ETB.
Ah.
I definitely think that's correct.
Well, that's hilarious.
Yep. 2 cards in hand are worth. Sorry, 1 card in hand is worth the 2 cards that are still in the graveyard.
Very literally, too, because they exactly exchange for 1 card each.
Yep.
When is the moon rises trigger? It's beginning of your upkeep. Okay. Here's unraveling number 2. Herzi has access to 2 unravelings now. So the funny thing here is that Herzi can also zero a heat and play their own maze collection. Then we can have an out maze collection brawl without
That's
unravelings.
true. Man, there are so many. The one really, I didn't realize how much Herzi's deck benefits from an early Edge of the Water, because I think in all of the games we've seen, or that I've watched certainly, we've had one. And man, Edge of the Water just allows this deck to like move the game state forward.
Yeah.
Which it struggles to otherwise.
Actually, in my games against Herzi, I don't think Herzi had an early Edge of the Waters.
Fascinating.
And somehow they still won, just by fogging me a bunch of times in a row.
I wonder, we could also see an isolated tagging the Krufix.
Okay, yeah, that definitely does stuff. I think you definitely want to do that because that's your best target for isolated. Probably the entire reason you kept it in the first place.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh no, Herzi is gonna zero reheat on Maze Study or Maze Collection. Well, but I guess that's the kind of game we have. Well, actually, Maze Collection is a lot better than Herzi's deck because Herzi has a lot more control over their draws.
So a lot more Unraveling's main deck.
Yeah, that too. And even can Herzi even cast the Unrelentings?
Yeah, Herzi's deck runs 1 Verdant Domain and a basic swamp, I think.
Oh, and Herzi knows about the new Cockatrice update, so they are gonna use the Conjure script.
I wonder how Sai feels about that.
Maybe Sai knows what to do now that they've seen Herzi do a demonstration. And Herzi draws the worst card possible, which is Swipe Secrets.
Womp womp.
Never mind, it's castable. Right.
Swipe Secrets is also fine on the untap, but attacking Sai for 2 mana is pretty real here. And knowing that what like counter magic Sai has is like very solid and helpful.
So you just grab their cursory glance, I guess.
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable move.
It feels weird zeroing Rick for Maze Collection. Like I definitely would have gone for Edge of the Water instead.
I think I like this move, just and Herzi switching to a fair game plan. Like Herzi also can kind of quote go infinite, quote unquote, if they mind rip Cyber X=2 and get another Maze Collection, which will contain another mind rip.
Well, I don't think that's even beneficial because you're still paying for all of that. Both in terms of mana and in terms of cards, right?
Yeah, but Cyber doesn't have any pressure on you.
Right.
You have infinite time to do everything that you want.
Okay, it's a reveal eternities off the Krufix.
I mean, that's a good hit. That's the sort of thing you want to hit here.
Yeah, it's actually castable for 1. Ooh, rot. I mean,
that Herzi didn't play out this isolated, I suppose.
Hey, Krufix survives the rot.
Very true. For like 2 different reasons.
Let's see if Herzi counters the rot. I mean, if they counter the rot, then Herzi is tapped out, so Cyber gets to do stuff. And I mean, I think Herzi has to counter this because they don't have any other engines going around, right? Nope, they let it happen. Hey, by the way, Herzi, do you know that in the new Cockatrice update, you can attach multiple cards at once by selecting all the cards and then doing the attach action? I guess.
I didn't know that was also part of that one.
Did you not read the update notes?
I didn't fully read them. I saw people summarize.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest things I wanted from Cockatrice.
Yeah.
Okay, does Herzi have priority again? Or does Cyber have priority again? Because I don't know if... Okay, Cyber is thinking, so we've resolved all the fiddly game action. Same, actually. I would expect the Herzi to counter that.
I mean, it's like a 1-for-1, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And it takes a clock off the battlefield, since the Moonrise is technically killing Herzi slowly.
So I guess end of turn, Herzi casts Unraveling and grabs their second Unraveling.
That seems reasonable.
Cyber can cursory glance it, but I don't think they want to. Yep, there's Unraveling, Bright Raw. Cyber is cracking Fetch in response. Okay. Are they going to counter it? No, they're not. They're going to crack now so that they don't get blown out by Speak No Evil, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Cyber choosing to not put cursory glance in hand is kind of interesting. It means that Herzi for, wait, does Swipe Secrets cost black to do the thing?
Yes.
So Herzi doesn't have the ability to cast the First three lines yet. Oh, and Cyber rewarded as Herzy draws a Speak No Evil right now.
I doubt Herzy would actually use Speak No Evil to counter a fetch land this far into the game, though.
Maybe fair.
Okay, so now, I guess, now you reveal Eternities. I mean, it's not like your opponent could do anything super threatening. Wait, what? Sure, I guess. I mean, Crucifix is something that's kind of worth fighting over. Okay, now they get to draw their third Unrelenting, and Cyber is starting to feel really hopeless, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Cyber went from Cyber's down to 3 cards in hand, and Herzy's up to 6, so definitely awkward. Cyber does still have a lot of gas left in the tank, though. Like 3 cards in hand, sure, but has an RFE in graveyard, has a Reveal Eternities tucked under the Crucifix, so it can cast Reveal Eternities now and then Reveal Eternities again next turn, so generate like an infinite amount of mana.
Did they not cast Reveal Eternities in response to Crucifixing Isolated?
Another response to Isolated. Yeah.
Okay. Did Herzy not draw their last Unraveling? They decided to scry Mind Rip to the top and then draw off their library. Sure, I guess. Why though? What did Cyber take? Maze Collection. Alright, we're gonna have a Maze Collection gaming match right now.
Alright, here we go.
I think Herzy has advantage right now because they have more Unravelings in the yard.
I think that's a reasonable assessment.
Yeah, just putting it out there.
I think in general, Psy has just like a lot of cards left in terms of raw cardboard, but Herzy still has like 2 Secrets of Corelight Court in graveyard, so it is far from impossible for them to force counter magic through when it matters. And we could see Herzy start to cast and coalesce some stand on the syllables, which is also exciting conceptually.
Cyber can Death and Reverse the Isolated. I mean, that seems decent because it puts Isolated back on top of Herzy's deck. Herzy probably doesn't want to waste a draw step on Isolated.
It is kind of treading water though, because unless you get a upkeep trigger out of Crucifix, I don't think that's like particularly valuable.
Oh, you know what Isolated makes good now? Rot. Because Rot now blows up Isolated plus whatever your opponent has. Now Cyber's going to tap out for... Okay, they're coalescing something. Oh, actually, they can sack Crucifix. Do they have Dire Straits right now? No, they don't. If they had Dire Straits, they could have sacked Crucifix to reconstruct it, and that would have been pretty good.
Yeah, but it only gives you the discount of 4 rather than the ideal discount of 6.
How are you gonna get oh, right. That lets you make use of an isolated Crucifix. That's good enough. And now that Cyber has a 5/6 in place, Herzy needs to start thinking about fogging.
I think Herzy is always thinking about fogging.
Herzy takes a Mind Rip and causes its game to slow down significantly, and both players have to think about Mind Rip now.
Yeah, see, that's the mistake. Just don't ever think about Mind Rip. Just accept its place in your life. It's there somewhere.
So we know that Herzy loses if Cyber Mind Rips or 3, but does Cyber lose if Herzy Mind Rips or something?
No.
So what does Herzy want to Mind Rip for?
Maybe just as an extra counterspell.
I guess, but like, what are some good targets for Herzy? Actually, Ultimate Surveyor is pretty interesting, right? Because that actually does do a lot of things against Cyber.
Well, you don't want to blow up any artifacts or enchantments right now.
It's just Grave Hate then.
I don't think there's anything in Cyber's graveyard you would rather be in their library, other than like, I guess, Typhoon Caverns.
But shuffles away a bunch of relevant stuff. But never mind.
It's back in the deck.
Right. Okay. Cyber Herzy just use their Speak No Evil to fog instead of counter the Moon Rises. I think we're gonna see a Moon Rises now.
Yeah, although Herzy can just counter the Moon Rises with Secrets of Corelight Court on it. And Sai knows that they can do that. So you can do it to like just force Herzy to spend mana, but you're not getting anywhere.
Maybe Herzy just spams Recall Forgotten Aeons too closer to stuff. They're gonna take back Cursory Lands to fight against Unraveling. And they're gonna pass and just keep up all their stuff.
I suppose that's also fair because I forgot that Prismatic Cavern produces black, so Herzy did have the ability to cast something off the Swipe Secrets until now. No longer.
Unraveling. Remember, how many Unravelings is this so far? Only it's 4. It's 4 Unravelings.
Yeah, 4 Unravelings. Plus there's another one hiding in the additional library.
Herzy's casting the stands now.
Interesting. I mean, it buys you more time. You don't have other like fogs that you want to cast, so each stand buys you a little bit over a turn versus this RFE.
Yeah. I think what Cyber needs to do is reconstruct in Dire Straits so that Herzy is forced to fog every turn.
I think that's a legit move, yeah. Especially because there's an Edge of the Water in Exile, so that's not going to be part of the plan.
Okay, so how many counter spells does Cyber know about?
They know about the. I don't know if they know about either Unraveling. They know about the Mind Rip, and they know it's an uncounterable Mind Rip.
Well, there's the Moonrises.
Does Cyber have a scary follow up to this? I think you just don't let this resolve if you're Herzy. Like,
Well,
what's the worst case scenario that they cast afterwards?
Dire Straits. Can they construct Dire Straits from here?
They can't both cast and reconstruct it. Because it costs them what for? It costs them 8 mana to reconstruct, so they need to have 11 mana to like play it and reconstruct it, and they do not have 11 mana, even if they hit lands off of the Dire Straits.
I guess even if the Moonrises eats up a counter spell, I think that's still alright for Cyber, right? Rather your Moonrises get countered than your business spells, like
Well, what are your business spells?
in Dire Straits that you're eventually going to draw because you only have 26 cards left in your deck.
Okay, so it's just the Dire Straits, though.
Maybe your Ultimate Surveyors in the future.
I don't think those count as business cards at this state of the game.
Your second crew fix, I guess. Your Maze collections, your things off Maze collection.
Maze collection kind of counts. I would not be surprised if Herzy's just like triple checking Cyber's deck list. Like, what punishes me here? Don't I just get away with this? Oh, Mind Rip X equals 2. Wait, are we Herzy? What the fuck? Why are we? Oh my god. X equals 2 means it's immune to cursory glance.
Alright, now Cyber needs to play Maze collection and hope for a 1 in 3.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, they have Reveal Eternities. They don't have to hope for a 1 in 3. They have to hope for a 1 in. They have to hope for not a 1 in. What's the chances of both Unravelings ending up on the bottom of Maze collection?
Low.
Yeah, okay. They also have Mind Rip, right? So, okay,
It is impossible for them to hard brick here. Herzy just, again, refusing to use Secrets of Corelight Court. And now Cyber, again, has this Maze collection. So if Cyber hits the Mind Rip and remembers how to use Mind Rip versus an opponent with Icon, I mean, I guess it's not a free win at this point, like you've seen other win conditions.
I think that's
But
literally just their stand.
yeah, I suppose that's fair.
Or actually, Oil of
Yeah.
Mind. I mean, Cyber's at 26
Well,
cards.
it's starting to get, like, pretty scary, actually, yeah.
Oh, wait, did Mind Rip just end up on top? Well,
Wait, so...
that's convenient. Well, I guess Cyber gets to make that play now. And let's see how Herzy boarded, because we can do that now.
So one thing that's also particularly awkward is that Cyber has the ability to flip Icon. Oh, sorry, is one off of being able to flip Icon right now, and has very few cards left in deck.
That's true. True. That means Herzy's mill plan doesn't work anymore. Does Herzy's have a way to blow up the Icon? No, they do not. Wonderful.
That's not really something they do.
Alright, so what Herzy needs to do is they need to play Rahid, flip a Death in Reverse after Rahid, and then use it on Icon's portal. Or I guess Icon backside if that happened. What are the chances of that happening?
Herzy could also Death in Reverse to snag a could raw hit to snag an Ultimate Surveyor if the Icon hasn't transformed yet.
How many Rahids does Herzy have?
3, right?
Well, look at the Exile Zone right now.
So we're through all 3.
Okay, I don't think Herzy has an out now.
If Herzy kept in Mark of the Scale Blight?
No, they did
Oh,
not.
Isolateds.
Oh, okay, that works. For a while, until Cyber blows up the Isolated with their 1 million removal spells.
Yeah. Man, what a messy series. At least we broke the 2-hour mark like you were hoping we would.
I don't think I was hoping I would. I was hopeful that it wouldn't hit the 2-hour mark, but apparently it did. So we'll just celebrate it because it's not even a new record. I've sat through some 2 to 3 or like 2.5 hour games in commentary because of judge calls. So at least this one's like almost all gameplay and no waiting around for judges.
True. Those damn judges.
Yeah, never available when we need them to be.
Truly the avatar of custom Magic.
Technically, yes. Cyber just says okay and proceeds with their game. So yeah, Herzy got big punished for not playing around anything that turn. Like, they could have also gotten screwed over by Thought Blossom, right? Why did Herzy go all in? They didn't have to mind rip for that much. Like, they could have just mind rip for X equals 1 and still been pretty happy with the outcome, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was... Secrets of the Corelight Court is a weirdly difficult card to use. I have lost GP win-ins by forgetting about it. I've seen Herzy, like, flub games because of forgetting about it. It's just... I think it's possible that Herzy had something they were valuing higher than making their spell uncounterable, but I think it was wrong to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I think they wanted to grab another Maze collection.
Although, like, they still end up in this position more or less if their spell's uncounterable, right? Like, the Moon Rises doesn't resolve, but if they if they ever tap low enough for your opponent to cast and resolve a Maze Collection, and they hit the Mind Rip, you do kind of just lose.
Yeah.
So 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Herzi needs to play Unraveling with 0 other copies in yard. That's a really sad Unraveling. And imagine going from this many. Imagine going from 3 Unravelings to 0 Unravelings. Must feel really bad. All right. So what Herzi needs to do now is play stand and then coalesce it so that they have something that gets them towards a win. Okay, that's step number 1. Is Herzi going to do step number 2? Solves.
I mean, the 6/4 is cool and all, but like, there's an RFE that can trade with it.
Herzi passes.
I don't think that's the rest of Herzi's game plan.
No, it probably is. Okay, so Herzi's game plan now is find oil the mind, find isolate the icons portal, and then oil the mind cyber to death. That's a lot of steps, and none of them have, and they need to not have any of the steps get countered. So it's pretty unlikely to happen, but it technically isn't out. So Herzi's still playing for it. Okay, Cyber is gonna reveal attorneys on their maze collection and take the unraveling. Okay, Cyber is at 8 cards in hand now. What did they draw? They draw the unraveling. Okay, they're gonna. I guess they're probably planning on flipping Icons Portal soon. If 7 Devotion. Alright, wait, Crewfix is a thing? Wait a minute. Isolated should have made Crewfix a creature, right? Like all this time ago.
Let me double check.
Yeah, it's an ability, right? So it should
Yeah,
be
so
turned off by Isolated.
Type setting comes before.
Okay, Herzi does also ask about the layers. Yep. So there was 6/6. Unraveling the curse. Okay, we're gonna see unraveling on unraveling, and Herzi's out of unraveling mana, so that unraveling's gonna happen. I think Herzi's plan just really unraveled from the moment that they forgot to reprise Secrets of the Corelight Court that turn. They had something going, like they really could have won the game, but then they made one small mistake and their kingdom crumbled. Their plans unraveled. Their opponent's unrelenting creatures are going to beat them down turn after turn. Not even a reaction from you, Pip?
No. There's some dead man walking energy going on here, and I'm kind of over it.
I agree.
Should have technically floated the colorless mana with the Promethean Grotto. For shame.
Herzi, you're getting sloppy. This is why you lost, because you forgot to float the mana off Promethean Grotto. Okay, Herzi's just dead now. Nothing they can do about it. And we're not even going to see Icon win the game. We're gonna see Herzi getting killed by creatures. Oh, Death in Reverse on the... Oh, I mean, sure, I guess. Does that do anything? That wouldn't have been done by just, attacking.
You can replay it, hit the stand unassailable.
Wait, does that turn off Crewfix?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, if you flip Icons Portal, it turns off Crewfix.
I see. Alright, Herzi's dead.
Yeah, you have to unraveling for -4, -0. Then your opponent counters it, and then you concede.
Wait, Secret of the Corelight Court.
Okay, you do not concede. You just take, 3 more damage, you're down 7 life. They play the Moonrises, nuke your yard. Wait, why didn't Cyber play the Moonrises pre-combat then? I guess it wouldn't have mattered. Your opponent still just does this in response.
Well, it would have made the unraveling smaller. Or no, they could have just done it in response, right?
Yeah.
Well, Herzi can always find another fog, plus a counter spell off the top. That gets them through another turn, I guess. See, okay, so that's the fog. Now we just need to find the counter spell. Okay, now Cyber plays the Moonrises. Exiling the unravel. I guess that's why you play it post combat. Get rid of the unraveling. Well, let's see if Herzi top deck what they need, which is basically just another counter spell. Oh, so, what? Does this do anything? Herzi plays out Edge of the Water. Cyber K's it.
Herzi doesn't have the ability to resolve this Speak No Evil through an unraveling.
If Herzi studies past it, maybe they could have. No, wait, there's 0 cards in Herzi's graveyard because they just got exiled. Mind.
So if Herzi uses small luxuries to lose 1 life, they can then cast Studies Past on their opponent's turn. So as long as they can pay 8 mana, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they technically have enough mana to cast Speak No Evil, small luxuries, Studies Past, Speak No Evil again. This does leave them mostly just dead, but like it technically is them continuing to play the game.
They're still holding on to life. Meanwhile, Cyber's almost at 17 cards. They're almost milling out.
If they do, they win off of Icon's
Yeah,
portal.
exactly. I want to see a win off Icon's portal because attacking
Oh,
is.
they don't have enough islands right now.
How do they not have enough islands? I thought they were blue deck.
They have a Nebula as their 5th blue source right now.
Do they have enough islands left in? No, wait, Anzan. Herzi has an Anzan somewhere in their deck, so Herzi just has to play the Anzan.
I think Herzi is going to not play the Onsen, if I had to guess.
Unfortunate. Wait, lose one from the Moonrises. You don't even have to small luxuries.
Oh, true.
You're gonna speak no evil in response to Moonrise. You're not even gonna take advantage of free trigger. Ooh.
Well, I think it's worth trying to counter it. Like, it's free value to try to in the first place.
Alright, Herzi is going to Psycho, small luxuries in response. Cyber lets it happen. Oh, here's Anzan. I guess that's getting discarded. GG. No, Herzi, you had to play. You could have study passed that thing and then cast it again because you lost life.
Yeah,
come on, you could have shown us a cool play that lets you survive one more turn.
It's possible Renewal Grove doesn't have any fetch targets left.
Oh.
Nope, it definitely has the swamp left. Yeah. Now well.
Oh well. I mean, it doesn't change the outcome, but we didn't see any. Herzi could have done something cool.
All right, those were certainly games that we watched. There's a lot of top 8 left. That was the playoff, so Cyber's going to go on to play Hitster here. The winner of that match is battling against whoever wins between Styles and Scribble. On the other side of the bracket, I'm versus Zangy, and then we have Nyx and Toastiferous battling. So we have a very interesting top 8. A lot of different archetypes.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm satisfied that Herzi lost this game because that's revenge for fogging me out in round 4 of the Swiss. And with that, I think Pip has already fallen asleep, so we'll just. I mean, I've also almost fallen asleep by now. I think we've all deserve a rest after this.